Hello, welcome to How Are the Children? I'm Pastor Lita Behrens at Our Saviors in Fort Collins, Colorado.
And I'm Pastor Bridgette Weir, the pastor at St. Matthew Lutheran in Taylorsville, Utah. So, welcome to our podcast where we look at the Revised Common Lectionary for the week, usually the Gospel, maybe supporting texts, from the Childist Biblical Interpretive Lens. If this is new for you, we invite you to go back and look at last week's for August 2nd, which was the feeding of the 5,000, where we were blessed to have Dr. Amy Lindman Allen on our podcast, who is has a PhD and teaches from this lens and is an expert.
Yeah,
So
it's
even
really fun.
if you aren't preaching on that text, it's just a really helpful way to engage any biblical text through that lens. She does a great job of kind of showing how that lens works. So we invite you to go back and look up our August 2nd podcast. So
Mhm.
today we are looking
Today we
at,
are,
yeah,
August 9th.
yes, I had to actually think about that.
Yeah. So we're looking
And
at the text for August 9th, which the gospel is Matthew 14,
it is,
and
I'm
I don't
pulling it,
remember the verse numbers. Just
it's
point me at it.
22 through 33. And I'm sorry, I was pulling it up because I actually, because we didn't have Google Slides last week, I was very confused.
Ah.
And I thought it was the 10th Sunday and August 2nd. Oh, I was a hot mess, y'all. So I think I have it all fixed, but we'll see as we go through. So I think I'm right. It's Pentecost 11, year A, August 9th. That just got fixed at like 5 minutes before Lita and I started. So there's that. And it's Jesus walks on the water. I'm actually not preaching on this.
Oh, I am.
Oh, do you want to read it?
No, I want to hear you read it.
Okay.
No, I'll
I
read
mean,
it.
all right. Matthew 14, Jesus walks on the water. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into a boat and go ahead to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. After he had dismissed the crowds, Jesus went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone, but by this time the boat, battered by the waves, was far from the land, for the wind was against them. And early in the morning he came walking toward them on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Word of God, word of life. Thanks be to God. Yeah, so this is a good one for kids.
Yeah,
Um, it kind of struck me, it reads very much like a children's book.
it does, and it's one you could almost, you could act out,
Yeah,
they can get their imagination in there.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it has a little bit of a Where the Wild Things Are vibe,
oh
right? Where
yeah.
Max gets into the boat and travels,
Hmm.
over days and weeks and months, all the way to a year to the land where the wild things are, right? Which
Hmm.
is, the other side, kind of connotation in ancient times.
Hmm.
So I thought about that. There's also a connection with Jonah, and that
Yes.
when jumps, when Jonah is thrown out of the boat, the wind ceases. It's the opposite,
Hmm.
right? So there's a Jonah connection there as well.
Yeah, and for children, this would also just be a very, I mean, I see how you wrote there, they might not even think twice about it. Like it's a story, and
Right.
I can imagine it, and maybe it happened, and maybe it didn't, and
Yeah.
I don't know. But I also think they pick up on the surface level meaning pretty easily too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like trust in
Yep.
Jesus and
Yep.
um, Jesus is with you when you're afraid, and you know, it's not a big leap, I guess, for them.
No, it's just a step out of the boat.
Yeah.
I know I'm here, tip the
Good one.
surfers here all
Good
day.
one.
Um, yeah, but I think yeah, anything with water and swimming and a pool, right? I think there's so many connections there. And wasn't there a VBS several years ago where this was the story and we made the oobleck
Yeah.
believe that they could walk across to sort
Yeah.
of, so there's all kinds of
Walk on water.
walk on water. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was all kinds of interesting things you could do. I think with that, if you kept moving, you didn't sink, but if you just stood there, you sank. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. It takes a lot of cornstarch.
That's what I do remember. Um, but there's some really, you know, fun things you could do for an intergenerational message or a children's time, whatever you have in your
Mhm.
congregation. Um, so that was yeah a little bit. Um, I was interested with the Jesus dismisses the crowds, which in the
Mhm.
Greek is I'll see if I say it correctly, apolao, which is
Mhm.
to set free or let go. Right, so the people were set free. Kids might feel that way at the end of church. Um,
Yeah.
this has become a hostage situation. Um, adults might feel that way at the end of church. I don't know,
Mhm.
but you know they will connect with that. If there's something about the dismissing the crowds that is of interest to you, and then it struck me that Jesus caught Peter,
Yeah.
and the faith is caught more than it's taught.
But yeah.
From our friends at Vibrant Faith Ministries. Jesus caught Peter, and this is what strengthened Peter's faith, not the actual walking on the water.
Right. Is the being caught.
Yeah. So, how do we catch children to increase their faith? What are they catching from us, and what are we catching from them?
Hmm.
Besides the creeping crud that they sometimes bring home. But, right, so that is an interest. I mean, that kind of struck me of, oh,
Yeah.
this is an interesting conversation to talk about. How is it we gain faith? And Jesus, you of little faith. Well, we just read all these parables about mustard seeds and,
Huh.
you know, these little, you know, pearls and treasures hidden in fields. So I don't think that Jesus is saying that as a rebuke. I think
No, I
Jesus,
don't think
it's
so.
a statement of fact.
Hmm.
You have little faith and it's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It is
you all,
enough.
and kids are little and you can have faith and it's enough.
Um, I was thinking too, so the week before this is feeding of the 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this one, and before the feeding of the 5,000, it's parables, right?
Right.
And it's Jesus teaching, but this is all action.
Hmm.
This is just
Yeah.
Jesus
Living it
being
out.
Jesus and living it out.
Hmm.
And um, in the parable section, he says, "Do you understand what I mean?" And they're like, "Yeah,
Sure.
sure." And then you get to these like feeding of the 5,000, and Jesus is like, "No, you can feed them." And then
Mm-hmm.
here, like, "No, you
Hmm.
can come out."
On the water.
Right.
Hmm.
I've
Ooh, I
got you.
like
So
that.
it's just sort of in this progression through Matthew, we have in this story another real action oriented, not so much him direct teaching, but living it out. So just think that, and these
Yeah.
are stories that get remembered.
Yeah. I love that. And the other thing that makes me think about, we've had word and now we have sacrament. right?
Oh
We've had
yeah.
the parables, the word,
Hmm.
and then we get feeding at the 5,000 and walking on water, communion and baptism,
Hmm.
right? So our lives, our faith lives, are word and sacrament.
Hmm.
Sacrament is anything, right, in our Lutheran tradition that has the earthy elements. Jesus is living
Yeah.
this out. This is
Yeah.
about what happens when our feet touch the soil and hit the water. And, you know, when our feet hit the ground every morning, sacrament.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's when you said that, that made me think of that. Um, so yeah, so that's one way to connect this to if you want to do some teaching in your sermon on worship, right? Word and sacrament, how
Hmm.
these things come together for a full faith life.
Yeah.
Um, they're
Yeah.
not little separate vignettes, right? It's one complete story of God in our midst. I think that could be one way to look at it, which kind of echoes what I was reading in a lot of commentaries, right? That this story echoes a lot of the stories of Israel, right? Creation,
Hmm.
God taming the waters, separating the Red Sea. In the ancient world, water represents evil in opposition to God's creation, but Jesus is literally above it, right? Not sucked into the evil and opposition, and invites Peter to test the waters of faith. And I thought about how do we invite children to test the waters? And can we catch them when they
Hmm.
need caught? Does anyone catch
Hmm.
us when we need caught?
Yeah.
This is how we grow disciples. We let them try.
Right. We just had a young person preach, and people were so happy to see that.
Yeah.
Most people, and
Mm-hmm.
and then there was a couple like, oh well, I don't know, um, they haven't been to seminary, and I'm like, let's talk about this some more, and
Yeah.
how do we hear from our young people, and
Oh, that's interesting.
you know, have find value in what they're saying. And again, most people thought it was
Absolutely.
wonderful
Yep.
and that they would like to see more of that so that the young are given an opportunity to have ways to express their faith.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to test the waters.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love that. Um, hmm. I love that you have some of your young people preaching. I would love to do that. We have lay preachers, and I think that's another. I've watched our lay preachers grow in their own faith through preaching,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? It's you have to try. You don't know till you try.
Right,
I love
right.
that. Um, Other things rattling that rattled through my brain. Did Peter really believe he could walk on water?
Yeah, I know. Or did he for a second? And
Maybe.
then like, ooh, maybe not.
Would
I
I
don't know.
believe that? Would I think I could do that? I didn't even believe the
I
oobleck
wouldn't.
when we did it all those years ago. So I was like, that is not going to hold me up. It did.
Hmm.
So I think about that. But then it led me to think about does the church really believe we can do the impossible in the world? Or have we just said, that's a fantasy?
Yeah, I think that's
What will we risk?
a really good question statement.
Yeah,
You
right,
know,
right.
what do we actually think
Yeah,
we
what can
can
we?
do
Mm-hmm.
through God? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who do we really trust?
Ooh, yeah. That's a great point.
Hmm.
Um, a pretty trite and common interpretation, right, is the getting out of the boat. I think there's more going on here than that. And I think, yes, right? You just have to get out of the boat.
Hmm.
But what is it when one person or one entity does that? What does that mean for the community, for the rest of us? Does it move us? Does it impose risk on the rest of us that they
Hmm.
shouldn't be taking? Right? I wonder what the other disciples thought back in the boat. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Peter, when you don't you rock that boat when you get out of here because
Oh yeah, that's a
they're already in a
yeah.
windstorm.
Yeah.
And the wind, I caught this as I was reading it out loud. The wind was against them,
Okay.
which is interesting because to get them far from land, the wind would have to push them, which
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel against. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Well,
nautical
because where
person.
were they trying to go?
To the
There's
other
also
side. Well, I
yeah.
guess okay, so I guess they did have that opposition if they're trying to get to the other side. In
Yeah.
my brain, if I were in a storm, I would just look for any land, and I
Well,
think
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Well, just turn around. But whatever it was, the wind was against them.
Yeah.
And I so what do we think is against us from getting out of the boat? What headwinds
Yeah.
do we think can't be mitigated?
Yeah, I think that's a good thought. Like what keeps us from doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And what do we say to the one person? Like,
Yeah.
are we encouraging them? Are we rolling our
Oh,
eyes? Like,
probably not.
Peter.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
about the folks we call radical,
Right.
the folks we call rabble rousers, the folks we call dreamers, the folks we call, head in the clouds, the ones we do roll our eyes at
Mm-hmm.
because they're always like, well, but what if? What if? Oh, that's not practical. We can't do that. Um,
Yeah.
and what? So, who are we to be as people of God? Are we to be practical? Are we to get out of the boat? Are we to
Mm-hmm.
risk
Mm-hmm.
and trust that Jesus will catch us?
Yeah.
I don't know. We do know. We we risk our reputations, the stability of being in the boat.
Well, yeah.
Hmm. We risk
And
our
knowing what direction, staying with the direction that we were told to go or we feel comfortable going or whatever.
path of least resistance.
Yeah. Um, and I think that's where we get into you can look back and name
Yeah,
someone as a prophet, but at the time,
they're just crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like Isaiah. I'm sure Isaiah walking around naked for 2 years was was
I
seen through a
probably wouldn't
certain
have
lens.
thought that was great.
Yeah.
You know,
Ezekiel's fine. No problem there. Yeah, I mean, I think, many of our prophets were labeled as inappropriate and,
hmm hmm
yeah, not down to earth and all these things.
right.
And Jesus is like, yeah, well, what's down to earth getting you?
hmm hmm Well, and this can take you into like the ethics of um, speaking up for others, being
Hmm.
a voice for what do you do in, I guess I was just reading about some immigration type issues in Minnesota
Yeah.
and how did people decide um, when they were going to do something when they weren't,
Hmm.
we have martyrs basically from this time who weren't trying to be martyrs,
No, right.
but stepped out on behalf of
Like Stephen.
others.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The stoning
Um,
of Stephen.
hmm And deciding when you do trust and be in the boat and let Jesus come to you and when do you step out on behalf
Hmm.
of someone else? I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
that is not always clear.
No,
There
it's
are
not.
times it's clear. There are times it's clear, but
Or there are times we hope it's clear.
right.
Um, as you're talking about that, yeah, I think about the folks right now sounding the alarm. and being
Mm-hmm.
called overreacting or
Mm-hmm.
alarmists around climate change, right? Around
Mm-hmm.
immigration, around our economy, capitalism, and those pieces. And I think about the Greek notion of the Cassandra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, sounded the alarm and was completely dismissed. But the things that Cassandra always prophesied or warned about came true.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have in our vernacular is the boy who cried wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody says that there's a wolf coming 3 times and we don't see the wolf, we're going to stop believing them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cassandra is one that says, no, I'm going to keep sounding this alarm.
Yeah.
So I think about, this was all in the ancient air as well in Jesus' time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unusual for us to, punish our prophets, right? A prophet in their own town has no honor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it's a huge risk, which leads us, I think, to the Romans 10. I didn't put the text in here, but it fits, I think, beautifully because how can children catch the faith if they don't see it, feel it, hear it, touch it, taste it in their lives?
Mm-hmm.
How beautiful are the feet of the one who brings the good news, the
Mm-hmm.
gospel.
Yeah.
It's about showing up and not about what we say necessarily. It's the presence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our children's presence is a witness to the world in our congregations and in the world. And the
Yeah.
walking on water is there with the feet as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus' feet brought the good news. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
say he used any words against the storm, but when he got in the boat, the storm ceased, right?
Yeah.
The good
Yeah,
news,
it's like all action.
it's all action and impossible action, right? Our feet
Mm-hmm.
can do important and seemingly impossible things. And I think so much of the feeding of the 5,000 and this story and some of the others going forward are all about our faithful imaginations of what God can do. Do we really believe God is God and can do godlike things?
Mm-hmm.
Do we really believe that? I don't know that we do. I don't think we live that way.
I don't think so either, because and so many times there'll be what you could really say is a true miracle and people brush it off
Yeah. Or
because
look,
it wasn't, I don't know, wasn't maybe it wasn't the way they imagined it would be or feel or look. But
yeah. Or they can't
some,
explain it. And
yeah,
so therefore there has to be there has to be an explanation, right? Oh,
there
I've got
does. We're
this one
very
now.
not into allowing for the mystery or the mystical.
Yeah.
Like our
So,
culture is very not, we're very not good at that. That's
and I
not a
don't,
good
and
English sentence, but
and it was a little bit better in ancient times, right? But one of the things that I was reading, and I didn't put in the slides, I have a funeral tomorrow, you all, so I was like, we'll get the slides done to a bare minimum and get them done for you. But the word ghost in Greek can also mean deception. That the
okay.
disciples thought Jesus was a deception.
Oh, okay.
I think there could be something there to your point of
Hmm.
mysticism. And did the disciples really believe who Jesus was and what Jesus could do?
Right. Or were they, yeah,
Or were
a
they afraid
ghost
of being
or a
deceived?
deception? Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
right.
trying to
Fool me
trick them
once.
into. Interesting.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
especially right off the feeding of the 5,000, it'd be like, wait, 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 wait. So this dude
Hmm.
can feed 5,000 people plus women and children, 5 loaves, 2 fish. Now he's walking across the lake.
Hmm.
That's not
Yeah.
right. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that in the Greek, the ghost could be, they
Deception.
thought Jesus was a deception.
That is interesting.
Mm hmm.
Something to ponder.
Mm hmm.
And
Right.
yet, to bring us back to the beginning, and we can go there in this story too, right?
Mm hmm.
Like, was he really walking on water?
Right.
And that kind of stuff. But that when children hear this story, it's a gift that they're more able to take it at face value.
That's not the right. Like our first
Mhm.
thought is, did he really do that? That is more than likely not the first thought of young children in particular. I think older
Right.
children,
Sure. Sure.
once they're school age, perhaps, but I think younger children, that's not going to be their first thought.
Hmm.
And why is it ours?
Yeah. And maybe that's faith like a child, right?
Right. Our first
Hmm.
thought isn't trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like parse apart or not
Look
demean.
for
A
the
reasonable,
deeper other meaning.
yeah, right. Like, yeah, why would we try to make it, brush it off as metaphor or
Uh-huh.
it's
And that is interesting too, because when Jesus is telling parables, he's being very clear that he's telling a parable
right,
and it's a metaphor.
right,
And here's what I'm trying to get at with the
right,
metaphor.
right,
But this is just Jesus doing things.
right, as
So,
God does.
as God does. Um,
I mean, I think
yeah.
about this scene from Bruce Almighty, where he's walking on water with God.
Hmm.
Like that could be a fun clip to show if you have the copyright ability. But
Yeah.
right, there's some fun clips that you could show from movies around this. That
Yeah.
why are we so hung up on the walking on water and the right
Right.
and that and how this works versus oh, what else can God do?
Yeah.
If God can do those things,
What else can God do?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a different question to ask.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was kind of what I thought. I'm not preaching on that text. So I but it's interesting. I'm enough of a church nerd that I was like, yeah, but I really like, even though I'm not preaching, being in the rhythm of looking at these texts every week.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
Sure.
hopefully you all are too,
Yeah.
um, because I think there's something to staying in the rhythm
Yeah,
of
there
where
is.
the story's going. That
And
helps me.
I'm enjoying we're just reading along in Matthew right now.
I
We're
kind of
not jumping all over.
yeah, I was too. I am. I'm like, there's something about, oh, this week is Matthew 14. Next week's also Matthew 14. And then we're on Matthew 15. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that one will be interesting too because it's the woman with the daughter with the demon,
Mm.
that even dogs get fed the crumbs from the
Yeah.
table, master's
Yeah.
table. And I think you were with me when we heard Barbara Lundblad preach a beautiful sermon on that
Yes.
at the Festival of Homiletics a few years ago.
Yes.
So we'll be drawing on that. If you don't know
Hmm.
Barbara Lundblad, look her up. She's a beautiful
Hmm.
preacher.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, right, we're just kind of rolling through Jesus' ministry and
Hmm.
kind of getting the day to day and the reminder that not every day was an easy day.
Hmm.
That's true of ministry in general. And maybe it's different for
Right.
you all. God bless you if it is. Um, but right, just some days you just want to get away and pray. Or
Hmm.
you just want to walk on the water and be left alone. And then these people are there. I mean,
Yeah. Well, and here he had tried to go be alone and then
yeah.
fed all the people.
And
And
then tried to be alone again. And then, yeah. So
so,
yeah. So I don't know. I think many folks that work in parish life can
mhm.
resonate with that. Like,
Sure.
I don't want another meeting.
Please, no.
No more meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
so how are the children?
Oh, they are trusting.
I'm going to say they're imaginative.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's the gift of children with this story is the imagination
Hmm.
piece.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so well, any other closing thoughts for us today before we
No.
end? No? So we will see you next week again with Matthew 15 and blessings on your proclamation this week and next week whenever you do preach. And we will see you again.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.